Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chishu Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
A study proves that fat men are completely invisible to women. Before I play you guys this video, I want to read this comment that is a response to a fat chick who's basically talking about how hard it is to be a fat chick, right? But a guy responded and said, just the hot guys you want don't look at you. There's plenty of us drooling over big girls. That's a fact. To which she responded to defend how hard it was to be a fat chick or whatever, and was interrupted by a man who brought some facts to the table. Check it out.
I apparently caused this confusion because none of the men in my comment section are under.
I was obese for like 21 years and then I lost weight and I had the opposite happen. But then I looked into it because I was like, why the f is everyone doing this? You're not gonna like the answer. So essentially they did this study where they like took men and women and then they showed like men and women like attractive people and unattractive people. And then they like gauged the responses in their brains to see what was going on. And they found that when women, actually I'll start with men first. When men looked at unattractive women, it caused the part of their brain that gets annoyed to light up. So like seeing an unattractive woman literally caused them to get annoyed, which is like a depressing thought. But then for women, women can't see men. If a man's unattractive, the women literally won't even recognize them as existing in their field of vision. People suck.
And so you guys heard the gentleman share information about the study that when men saw fat women, they were annoyed by him. The response was annoyance, while women didn't even see a fat guy. Like he just didn't exist to her. As always, we're gonna check out some of these comments. The first one is from a woman who responded to what the guy had to say. And she said, it's not that the person was invisible. It's that it didn't elicit a response. Better than annoyance by a long shot. So this woman is basically saying like, you know what? It's worse to be a fat chick because people actually perceive you as annoying, whereas a guy just isn't acknowledged at all. This is what the gentleman had to say in response to this comment.
This is actually one of my favorite philosophical debates, and it's like a super weird deep dive, but it like gets into why dating is all fucked up right now and why no one's happy. Because there's this like philosophical question of, is it better to not be perceived or to be perceived negatively? And I know women will hear it and they'll be like, oh, it's better to be perceived negatively, and I don't think so. And it's like very multifaceted, so like I'm just gonna get into it. So there was this study, I hate saying that, there was this study, like, oh, cite your sources. I'm autistic and I have like an eidetic memory. I'm not gonna waste time before every one of my videos like going and pulling shit up. I don't care. But they did this thing in the UK where they wanted to see what men and women were looking for in the opposite sex. So they got a bunch of men and women. I think they did speed dating at one point, but they were essentially just doing like a bunch of polling and stuff to figure out what people were looking for. And they found that men and women are looking for completely different things, and it's like hilarious. So I'll start with men first because they're easy as Men are stupid. Men are stupid like little monkey men. And they're just looking for three things in particular. First, most important, actually not even most important, just first, they like it if you have a symmetrical face. So they want you to be pretty. But we know that, right? The second one, and this is funny to me, they want you to not be obese. Overweight was fine. They didn't care if you were overweight. It was if you were obese is when it became an issue for like selective purposes. And then finally, and this was my favorite one, the number one, and this is actually the most important thing if a woman is trying to like get a man, the one thing men look for in women is that you're nice to them. Like that was it. It was like, if you're just nice to the guy, he loves that shit. Women, on the other hand, were looking for three completely other things. So they were looking for like in descending order. So the least important was shoulder width. They wanted you to have like wide shoulders. Second was height, obviously. And then third was status. And status is a very complicated metric because it's not just like how much money you have or like how independent you are, but it's how others perceive you as well. And here's where it gets dark. But the thing is, status is fake. So like if you're a valet and someone shows up in a Lamborghini, but they get out and they look homeless, you're not going to assume it's a homeless person who stole a Lamborghini. You're going to assume it's a rich person who doesn't give a shit how they dress. But in the same regard, you could have someone dressed really nice get out of a Honda Civic, But if you're the same valet, you're going to assume that the homeless-looking man has a higher status than the Honda Civic man, regardless of the suit and how he's dressing himself, because status is a complicated issue. The red pill incel crowd understands this shit, and that's why they're always preaching to their followers or minions or whatever that you want to polarize women immediately, because it makes them view you. And if you're a dude who goes up to a random woman on the street, even if you're an ugly dude, it causes them to think your status must be higher than it is, because why would this ugly guy talk to me?
All right, so some really, really interesting information right there. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Comment down below what you thought of information that was shared here by this TikToker. We're going to look at some more comments here. We have a gentleman who says 1,000,000% would rather get some positive attention with some negative rather than never, ever get any attention, not even close. Someone responded to him and says, I'm with you on that. That's true. If you were left with the option of, do you want people to look at you and feel some annoyance towards you, right? But still acknowledge you, or for people to just see you as invisible, see you like you don't matter, then to me, that's just an easy choice. You'd rather a little bit of negativity because being seen at least gives you the opportunity that you have someone's attention. We've got a woman here who chimed in and says the whole being nice to guys and them taking it wrong is just because their standards are really that low. With surprised eyes, someone else responded to her and says, it's because no one is ever nice to us. So if you are, we think there must be a really good reason, like that you like us that way. This is really interesting, right? We have a woman who says, this is why when I'm nice to guys, they think I'm flirting with them. And I don't think it's necessarily them mistaking your kindness or you being nice for being flirtatious. It's just a quality that men admire in women, which is pretty hard to find in today's modern day, right? Finding a woman who's genuinely kind, who smiles, who is nice. It's not necessarily show of attraction on the woman's part rather than a qualifier for, wow, that's good, she's nurturing, and I think that's how most men perceive it. Not necessarily she's being nice to me, it's more like that's a really good quality and I'm interested in that chick. And the brutal honest truth is most guys today get so little attention from women. It's difficult being a man, right? Most men get so little attention from women that when a woman does show them, it's a rare thing, and I could see men capitalizing on that opportunity. Next comment here reads, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. This is a powerful quote. I remember the first time I heard this, I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. It's powerful. Indifference is the opposite of love. Indifference is way, way stronger than hate. In fact, I think indifference is the worst place you want any woman who you're attracted to view you, is indifferent, right? For example, when you're over a relationship, there are women who you can look back to who you kind of dislike maybe what they did to you, maybe dislike them. Maybe some of you may hate people from your past, right? But then there's people who it's kind of indifferent. Like you just don't care. They don't even cross your mind. That's a whole different level. Next comment here reads, for those saying they would rather be not seen, just remember, isolation is the single worst punishment to people. That's facts. Very, very true. A woman here says, I just saw another vid where a girl was asking why men will say, you were looking at me, you smiled at me, etc. when we weren't. Guess that explains it. Next comment here is from a woman who says, I'm so guilty of this. When I'm at the gym, I don't notice 99.9% of men. But if someone attractive is near me, suddenly I look up. Wow, right from the horse's mouth, gentlemen. And what does she mean by attractive? And this is where the controversy starts, even amongst men, right? Is there are men out there who look at this and think, okay, well, I must better myself. I need to get in the gym. I need to lose weight. I need to stop being fat, right? Whereas there's another group of men who just complain, cry, and whine. In fact, they'll probably be in this comment section somehow saying self-improvement is not enough. But guys, this is an issue of being overweight and being fat, right? I'm going to the gym currently right now more than usual because it's something that I need to focus on more and lose a couple of pounds, right? Last year, I lost 60 pounds. I was legitimately fat. I have photos on my IG. Go add me. Instagram. I know the difference, right? I know the difference in the way I look. Don't get it wrong, I'll still busting cheeks because, got game, handsome. Oh, man. But listen, we're talking about being fat here, gentlemen. Something that you can work on. Want to be seen? Want to attract more women? Stop complaining, get in the gym, and work on yourself. I will not back off that ever. Right? We've got another woman who responded here and says, I'm like this with all men unless they're tall. They don't register. Wow. Now that's an extreme version. And you may say there's something wrong with women, or you can realize the truth, the RP, female nature. Nature is ruthless. Get in the gym. Get in the gym. Nobody should be fat. No woman, no man. And this is all something we can all work on. But the proof is just right here. Women are just being straight up saying, hey, I see a guy who's overweight, fat, not taking care of himself, looks like a slob, doesn't even register. I don't even see him until I read this post and I realized that, wow, a guy only stands out to me if he's attractive. A lot of that for guys, man, is really just keeping in shape. You don't have to be chiseled to the max. You don't. Next comment here by Man says, this is literally the life of a guy in general. Laughing emoji. Welcome. I do want to say this. Just because you lose weight doesn't mean you're necessarily just going to get a bunch of chicks to, get down and want to suck your joystick. I think it's more than that, right? I think what it does overall is it gives you more opportunity. It gives you more eyes. It's like advertising. It's like the better your ad is, the higher rate of conversion into customers, into whatever goal you may have with women in your life. So guys, this next comment is really interesting, right? This guy says, this is why my friend's girlfriend introduced herself 3 different times at 3 different occasions until I pointed out we've met. Oh, this is brutal. And so this guy sounds like the way he's talking, he's like overweight, and he's like starting to make sense out of all this, right? That's crazy, bro. Next comment here from a woman says, not eliciting a response in our brains feels healthy. That feels like a really healthy response in comparison. So this chick is saying it seems healthier to be a woman and just not recognize men. It seems healthier than men who feel annoyed. And if you think like a woman, you're going to look at this and be upset about this whole situation. If you think like a man who's indifferent to female nature and you've accepted reality for what it is, you're going to think, how can I improve myself, right? Women are out here still trying to paint themselves as, we're better, we're kinder, we're because we don't think negatively about fat guys. We just don't think they exist. When we know that's worse than the latter. Here we have a woman who responded to that and says, for real, I'd rather a stranger just not perceive me than to just suddenly have a negative feeling. And these women obviously don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what it's like to be a man who gets no attention from women. And a man who doesn't even know why he's not getting attention from women. He's getting all types of mixed signals from society. Society's telling him, hey, you just have to be a good guy. Treat her with respect. Go tell her you like her. All that other stuff is superficial. Don't hit the gym. Don't embrace your masculinity. Don't improve yourself, right? That's toxic. Just be you. And if you believe that shit and you're drinking that coffee, you got to stop.
Put that coffee down.
Right? This is why, as difficult as it may be to accept, like the TikToker who was once overweight, couldn't believe the difference in how women were treating him. He found out by improving his life that everything basically changed, right? So I encourage you to focus on yourself and improve your life where you need to. Gentlemen, as always, I appreciate you for checking out another episode of the Coffee Pod. Please let me know what you think down below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.